Hey you guys, what's up? I'm Ashley from heavenathome.org, and this is the Heaven at Home podcast, where my goal is to encourage you in your personal growth journey while being open, honest, and owning my story. We have faith-based conversations and tackle a bunch of different tough topics. Check out the description to follow me and learn more. Remember, you are fully known and deeply loved. Let's do this. Okay, this is my all-time top secret to being satisfied in each and every single one of my relationships. This is super exclusive information, you guys. First off, I do want to share this disclaimer or this caveat, I guess. I am very particular with the people that I let in. I'm very particular with the people that I call my people, my family, my friends. If I call you my friend, you're basically my best friend. I'm really big on interacting with healthy people who have healthy thoughts and know how to manage their emotions. I look for people who offer interesting, different, alternate perspectives. I look for people who align with biblical principles and core values that I have. I look for people who are healthy, right? Just trying to give a really good, deep illustration of what I consider a healthy person, even when they don't necessarily have the same spiritual beliefs as me. But I really do not do toxic, unhealthy relationships. I'm a really big peacekeeper at work, at school, and at church. In different contexts, I like to maintain peace and harmony. So there are very few instances where I will isolate myself from a person, and it's if I see that someone is aggressive or disrespectful in a verbal or physical way. If I sense that someone is not being authentic in their interactions with me, like I feel like I have a really good sense of when someone is pretending to like me or pretending to be my friend. I'm very careful around people who gossip as well and share business that has nothing to do with them, or when they just share stuff that isn't necessary. All right, like I said, I don't do toxic and unhealthy relationship dynamics. However, in the context of relatively healthy relationships, when I'm dealing with relatively healthy people and perfectly imperfect people, this is my secret to being satisfied. And part of my secret has to deal with expectations. I do not expect people to perform perfectly all the time. And I think especially in the cases of like spouses or romantic partners, there's this kind of cultural idea that this other person completes me. This other person is perfect for me. I don't think perfection in people is a realistic expectation. People have their weaknesses, their shortcomings. There are seasons where people just don't have 100% capacity. Like people get busy, people get burned out. And, sometimes people just don't know the right thing to say, the right way to show up. And I give a lot of grace for that. So my secret to being satisfied is that I do not expect everyone to be everything I could possibly need. I don't expect them to be their role perfectly. I don't expect them to fill the role that Jesus is supposed to fill. So if I have a spouse, if I have a friend, a sibling, a parent, I believe, or, I have this assumption, this healthy assumption that they're doing the best that they can. They are offering me their best. They are giving me what they have available. And ultimately, with any interaction, they're all doing their best to love me, to be there for me, to hear me, advise me, all that stuff. But they're all weak and they're all imperfect. And, they have their strengths, but they're never going to show up for me perfectly all the time. People are going to disappoint you. I think we just have to come to terms with that. Like, sometimes we wish that our friends had more compassion. Sometimes we wish that our friends had more time. Sometimes we wish that people said the right thing. Sometimes we wish that people did what they were supposed to do what they said that they would do. And I think especially spouses, like, they get hit with that expectation of perfection the hardest, like, because their spouses are expecting them to show up. It's very easy to get caught up in what the other person doesn't do. It's very easy to get caught up in the way that a person is different. And one of the things that I am most grateful for in my season of crisis is that I have learned to go to Jesus in times where people may have failed me. My go-to is Jesus to be that person for me. If I need someone to show up as a lover, he is the lover of my soul. If I need someone to go to as a parent, he is a perfect parent. If I need a friend, if I need a counselor, he is a perfect counselor. He's a perfect pastor. And I think a lot of times we kind of wrestle with those feelings of like, man, I wish this person would have done this because this is what I needed. I wish this person would have said this. Like, this is what I was needing to hear. And we kind of reorient our lives around like what we need and expect people to be exactly what we need when we need it. And I found that I can find a lot of satisfaction in going to Jesus and allowing him to be everything that I need. And because my go-to is Jesus, because he is the person that I need, and because I never expect anyone to take his place, I'm very content in being able to pour out. I'm content in being able to give and love selflessly because he's everything for me. So I think having reasonable expectations and giving people grace is important. And I'm not necessarily trying to say that I don't have a reasonable amount of give and take within my relationships. But ultimately, I go to Jesus. I go to him for everything, knowing that he is everything. Like, that is my secret, is that Jesus is everything. And I shared a similar message on my TikTok profile. You guys can check it out. I'm actually getting a lot of interactions over there recently. A lot to me, a lot in my perspective. What I shared is that if you want perfectly imperfect, like a lot of us say we do, love people. Love people with all your might. Love people with all you got. But if you want perfectly perfect, someone who's always going to show up perfectly in exactly the way that you need, love Jesus. Because Jesus is literally everything. And you can't go wrong with him, ever. All right, that's my secret. That's my secret to being satisfied in my relationships, is loving Jesus, because he's everything. Thank you guys so much for listening. Feel free to DM me to send me your feedback. Check out the description below to follow me on social media. This podcast is listener supported. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, you are fully known and deeply loved. I'll see you in the next one.